This is Robert Kraft, and I'm coming to you live on SNNLive, and we're at the LD Micro 10th Annual Main Event in Bel Air, California. With me right now is Thomas Equels from Hemispherx Biopharma, publicly traded company with the symbol HEB. Thomas, welcome to SNNLive.
Well, thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you for joining us. So, for our audience, let's start off with an overview of the company, and then we'll go from there.
Well, certainly. Hemispherx Biopharma is a pharmaceutical research and development company developing two products that are immunological agents. The first product has an FDA approval. It's Alferon, which is the only FDA-approved natural alpha interferon. Alferon is a very important drug in terms of future therapeutics because it replaces the recombinant interferons that are no longer suitable for therapy in those patients that become refractory due to neutralizing antibodies. Because it's not a synthetic interferon, but rather a natural interferon, they can take this drug without side effects, and the drug is extremely effective for them, replacing the synthetic interferons that are no longer available. Our other drug, Ampligen, is one of the most significant, and I believe will be a breakthrough drug in immunology. Ampligen is a drug that was developed as a double-stranded RNA TLR3 agonist at Johns Hopkins University, and has been developed to have applications in immuno-oncology, in ME/CFS, and as an antiviral therapy. Now, it is generally in an experimental stage. However, we have had an approval just recently in Argentina. Argentina's FDA, called ANMAT, is the most respected of the regulatory bodies for drug approvals, very professional in South America. And that Argentina approval is very important because it gives access around the world. Many countries will accept that for purposes of sale.
And Thomas, what are some of the primary indications for Ampligen?
Well, Ampligen is an experimental drug. As I said, we've only gotten one approval, our first approval, and really it's the first approval of any drug for ME/CFS worldwide. But our experimental focus right now is very heavy in immuno-oncology. Ampligen, first of all, the FDA has given us orphan drug status in melanoma and in renal cell cancers. And that's as a standalone. We're operating a therapeutic program which was approved in the Netherlands in pancreatic cancer. Pancreatic cancer is a devastating cancer. There's probably 100,000 deaths per year in the United States and another 100,000 in Europe. The survival rate is so low that it's effectively a death sentence. So anything we can do to make a difference in the standard of care for pancreatic cancer is very, very important. So this standalone work that we've been authorized to do in this therapy program in Europe will provide important immunological data that will allow us to then move into combination therapies in pancreatic cancer or as I said, standalone therapeutic activity. We have done a number of experimental projects in the United States at some of the major cancer centers related to working in conjunction with other drugs, such as checkpoint inhibitors and other immunological agents, and developing an understanding of why Ampligen has the potential to dramatically enhance the effectiveness and the safety of those applications. So we are very, very enthusiastic about the future for Ampligen. I believe Ampligen is the shape of things to come in immuno-oncology. I believe that Ampligen has the opportunity to break through here because what it does is it alters the microenvironment of the tumor. It allows the immune system to work effectively and at maximum force, and it works well in conjunction with other immunological drugs and cancer surgeries. And an additional important aspect of this, it is the only TLR agonist, toll-like receptor agonist, and it's a toll-like receptor 3 agonist that has a well-established safety profile. We have done almost 100,000 doses of Ampligen in humans, IV.
And what's your background? You know, how did you get into all this?
Well, I became a major investor in this company several years ago, and when I was asked to take on the duties of CFO, I did, and about a year and a half ago, the board asked me to become the CEO. And I did this because I'm a true believer in the future of Ampligen. And my commitment, and of course there are great financial opportunities here that may unveil themselves, but my commitment is because of the belief that Ampligen can make a difference. It can save lives. It can change lives. It can be a transformative drug for so many people.
So you also touched on this a little bit in the overview, but I wanted to discuss some of the recent news that's come out from the company. You know, can you address some of that?
Oh, well, yes, I'll be glad to. Of course, the approval in Argentina is a hallmark approval. As I said, the disease ME/CFS, people in the United States commonly call it chronic fatigue syndrome, is a very severe disease for some people. In the United States alone, there are over 100,000 people that are fully disabled by this disease, and there is no therapy. Now, we have a new drug application before the FDA. We've completed a phase 3 trial, and they've asked for a confirmatory trial on top of that. But we also have been allowed to conduct by the FDA a compassionate care program. So there's some clinical work being done on an ongoing basis, and we also are in a place where we have the orphan drug status for chronic fatigue syndrome. So this is a big market. It's an totally unmet medical need in the United States. Now, one of the recent developments was that there was an effort to come up with another drug that might address chronic fatigue syndrome, and they just conducted a 150 subject trial in rituximab in Norway. And frankly, because I know how desperate the need of these patients are in the United States, I was hoping that they would do well, because we have to think about the patients first and the human suffering involved with this disease. But that failed. So that leaves Ampligen as the only game in town to have a hope at being a therapy for this desperate unmet medical need. So that's what's going on there. And we've been making great strides in immuno-oncology. You know, we think that there's going to be a great future for Ampligen in immuno-oncology, and we're pushing very hard to be at the forefront so that we can be a part of that immunology revolution that's going on in the field of oncology.
And Thomas, where can our audience go and find more information about the company?
Well, if you're interested in learning about the company, a good place to go is our website. That's hemispherx.net, www.hemispherx.net. And everything you need to know about us will be there, and you can get right up to speed quickly.
My name is Robert Kraft, and we're coming to you live on SNNLive, and we're here at the LD Micro 10th Annual Main Event in Bel Air, California. With me again has been Thomas Equels from Hemispherx Biopharma, publicly traded company with the symbol HEB. Thomas, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much.